Have you ever been forgotten? Maybe your friends forgot to invite you to a party. Maybe your teacher forgot to call on you. Maybe someone promised to do something for you, and then they just forgot. It hurts, doesn't it? It makes you feel small, invisible, like you don't matter. That's exactly how Joseph felt. He was in prison. He had helped someone. He had done something amazing. And then that person forgot about him. 4 whole years. But here's the thing. God hadn't forgotten Joseph. And God was about to do something huge. Let's get into it. So here's where we are. Joseph has been thrown into prison. He's done nothing wrong. He was falsely accused. He was punished for doing the right thing. But even in prison, Joseph didn't give up. He didn't complain. He didn't get bitter. He kept trusting God. He kept working hard. He kept helping others, and God blessed him. The prison warden noticed Joseph. Just like Potiphar had noticed, Joseph was different. He worked hard. He was trustworthy. He didn't cause trouble. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners. Joseph became the chief of the jail. He was in charge of everything that happened in the prison. One day, 2 new prisoners arrived. They were important men. The king's cupbearer and the king's baker. These were the men who served Pharaoh every day. The cupbearer tasted Pharaoh's wine to make sure it wasn't poisoned. The baker made Pharaoh's bread, but they had upset Pharaoh somehow. And now they were in prison with Joseph. They were there for a while. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And then one morning, Joseph came to check on them. He noticed something was wrong. Their faces were sad. They looked worried. They looked confused. Joseph asked them, "Why are your faces so sad today?" They said, "We both had dreams, but no one can tell us what they mean." Joseph smiled. He pointed up. "Don't dreams belong to God? Tell me your dreams, and God will help me explain them." Now, this is important. Joseph didn't say, "I can interpret dreams," he said. God can interpret dreams. He gave all the credit to God. So the cupbearer told his dream first. "In my dream," he said, "I saw a vine with 3 branches. The branches budded, blossomed, and produced grapes. I squeezed the grapes into Pharaoh's cup and gave it to him." Joseph listened. Then he said, "Here is the meaning. The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your job. You will give Pharaoh his cup again, just like before." The cupbearer's face lit up with joy. Then the baker told his dream. "In my dream," he said, "I had 3 baskets of bread on my head. Birds were eating the bread out of the top basket." Joseph's face grew sad. He said, "The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head, and hang you on a pole. The birds will eat your flesh." The baker's face fell. He knew what that meant. Joseph had told him the truth. Because God always tells the truth. Sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news. But it's always the truth. Then Joseph turned to the cupbearer. He said, "Please, when you get out of prison, remember me. Tell Pharaoh about me. I was stolen from my homeland. I have done nothing wrong. I don't belong in this dungeon. Please, just remember me," the cupbearer promised. "I will remember you," he said. "I will tell Pharaoh about you." 3 days later, it happened exactly as Joseph had said. The cupbearer went back to the palace. The baker was executed. But the cupbearer forgot Joseph. 4 whole years, Joseph stayed in that prison. 2 years. 730 days. Alone, forgotten. Have you ever felt forgotten? Like no one sees you. Like no one cares. Like you're invisible. Joseph did. He was in prison. He had helped someone. He had asked for help. And then he was forgotten. But here's the thing, God hadn't forgotten Joseph. God was working. God had a plan. And 2 years later, God was going to do something that would change Joseph's life forever. So what can we learn from this story? Let me give you a few things. First, God gives wisdom to those who trust Him. Joseph couldn't interpret dreams on his own. He gave all the credit to God. When you need wisdom, ask God. He will give it to you. Second, we should help others even when we don't get anything in return. Joseph helped the cupbearer. He didn't get paid. He didn't get thanked. He got forgotten. But he still helped. We should help others because it's the right thing to do. Third, God's timing is perfect. Joseph had to wait 2 more years in prison. It wasn't because God had forgotten him. It was because God was preparing something even greater. Fourth, never give up hope. Joseph was in prison. He had been forgotten. But he didn't give up. He kept trusting God. He kept working hard. He kept helping others, and God honored his faithfulness. Fifth, our gifts are from God. Joseph had the gift of interpreting dreams. But he didn't use it to make himself look good. He used it to help others and to point people to God. And here's the most beautiful part. This story points to Jesus. Joseph was forgotten by the cupbearer. Jesus was forgotten by his friends. When he was arrested, they ran away. Joseph was in prison for 2 years. Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days. Joseph's faithfulness in prison led to his promotion. Jesus' faithfulness on the cross led to his resurrection. And when Joseph was finally remembered, he became the second most powerful man in Egypt. When Jesus was raised from the dead, he became the King of Kings. Joseph said, "Remember me." Jesus says, "I will never forget you." So the next time you feel forgotten, the next time you feel invisible, the next time you wonder if God sees you, remember Joseph, remember his prison, remember his dreams, and remember that God has not forgotten you. He sees you. He knows your name. He has a plan for your life. And in his perfect timing, he will act. What an amazing story, Wonder Explorer. A prison to dreams, a forgotten promise, and a God who never forgets. Next time, we're going to see Pharaoh have a dream that no one can interpret. And suddenly, the cupbearer will remember Joseph. You do not want to miss it. So here's my ask. If you've made it this far, you're loving these stories. Don't miss the next one. Hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the bell too. That way, every new story comes straight to you. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends, they need to hear these stories too. Let's keep walking through the Bible together, from Joseph's prison cell all the way to the cross. Here's the verse that sums up this whole story. Don't dreams belong to God? Genesis chapter 40, verse 8. And here's the good news for us. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. See you next time, Wonder Explorer. And remember, you are never forgotten by God. He sees you. He loves you. And He has a plan for your life.